Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Generation Red, the kettle corn of Husker fan podcast, where we try to be sweet, but at times we get salty. I am one of your hosts, Ken.
And hey, folks, it is Scott.
And I am Justin, back in the saddle.
We've missed you, my friend. We've missed you. Glad you got the camera stuff figured out. Coach BA's got some stuff going on with his football team he's got to handle tonight, so hopefully he'll come in later. But for now, we're just going to preview the Michigan State game. We're going to take a look at a few stats here. I don't really have any slides up for anybody to look at. I apologize for that. It just was kind of a crazy week. So let's just jump into it, guys. If there was one question I could ask, and it's kind of the same question we talked about last week, Justin, and that is, if there's one takeaway from the Michigan game that you'd like to see Nebraska change and make better coming into Michigan State, what would that aspect be?
So for me, when I was watching, when I kind of broke down the film, I think it's going to be important. I really want Dylan to be quicker about checking those little swing passes to the running backs, because those are open in a lot of instances against Michigan. And I showed that kind of on the film breakdown I did last Wednesday, I think it ended up being ultimately. But a couple of opportunities there where we threw passes into traffic. One of them was nearly intercepted, where we had a guy open on the edge that if we just would have quickly swung it out there, that we would have been able to get a first down or get some yards. So I think it's going to be very, very important. I hope that early on we start to take those horizontal, routes if they're there, take those underneath, let them work up the field. And then once we spread that field out horizontally, that'll open up that inside run game. And then once that inside run game is opened up, we'll be able to stretch the field vertical. Michigan State does not have a good defense.
No,
not even remotely close. They don't have a pass rush. So getting them on their heels early is going to be very important for a team with no pass rush. If you get them on their heels, even then more so, they're not going to be able to employ stunts. They're not going to be able to do stuff like that. So I think it's just very important. Get the ball out of his hands quickly, take what we can get, and then worry about getting the ball a little bit deeper down the field later on in the game.
How about you, Scott? What things that you would like to see Nebraska do differently in this game than what we did last week?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with what Justin said. Just decision-making, making the best out of what you're given. I know that Dylan has been pretty solid this year in doing that, especially during the Cincinnati game. He didn't try and play hero ball. He was just taking those short little slant routes and check downs and whatnot. And I think in the big game against Michigan, I think he just let his composure go just ever so slightly, but still played a good game, all things considered.
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, taking what the defense gives you. Our offensive line at this point, we're 4 games into the season, is what it is. I'm sure there's a little things that they can do to tweak a little bit here, a little bit there. But as of now, our offensive line is what it is. Our rushing defense kind of is what it is. So we're just going to have to play to our strengths. Our strengths are our pass defense, force them to pass, make them pass, dare them to pass. Let our cornerbacks do their jobs, and maybe try and get a run game going. But like I said, our offensive line just kind of is what it is. I'd say that's pretty much it. Dylan just needs to play smart, play to our strengths, and make field goals when we're presented with those opportunities.
I would like to see a clear running back establishment in terms of what the roles are a little bit. I was talking about this a little bit on my show, but just seeing more of an ironed out idea of what Mosey's role is, what Ives's role is, what Mackay's role is. And Holgerson mentioned, I think it was Holgerson, that we'll see something a little different and unique this week. So I'm curious to see how he rolls out and employs this running back room. But I think we do need to kind of see a little bit of what each running back is going to be and how they're going to be utilized in this offense.
For sure. I appreciate that. I think if there was anything that I came away with from last week was obviously, we've all beat the line of scrimmage topic to death, but certainly the running game, figuring out a way to establish that. And maybe what you're saying, Justin, is key. If they can figure out how to get that horizontal game going to where you spread the team out so they know that they've got to make sure they're covering the whole field, right? that opens up that middle. Maybe we see some run game then up the middle, and then when we do that, you've got the play action option to go deep. I'd certainly like to see Key and Hunter get open deep in this game, because I watched the highlights from the USC Michigan State game. There's no reason those guys can't get open against this defense, because it is ranked 91st in the country in total defense. They've given up 1,054 pass yards and 482 rush yards, and they're giving up 384 yards a game. Whereas Nebraska's 14th in the country in total defense at 694 on the rush. Whew, that's got to shore up quickly. And 303 via the pass and 249.3 per game. So I certainly believe the two defenses, I think Nebraska can kind of get right on defense in this game. I just hope they can, like Scott was saying, keep Childs contained in the pocket. Don't rush up too far upfield on him, right? Otherwise, it's real easy for him to just take off and run. Hopefully we run a little bit more four-man line this week instead of just a three-man, because it seemed like Michigan just blasted us whenever we lined up three guys. I mean, that's it for me. Let's see. We don't have any comments yet. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. We do have merch available. Scan that QR code up there in the top right corner of the screen, and that'll take you right directly to our store. You don't have to go to our website and click on the link at the top. You could just scan that QR code with your camera app. Also, we want your opinion during the show. So any of you watching on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, please leave a comment down below in the live chat. Let us know what you think about the things we're talking about today, and give us your score predictions when we get to that point in the show. You can follow our show at GenRedPod on Facebook, X, Twitter, and YouTube. Websites, genredpod.com, genredpod@gmail.com is email, or Generation Red if you prefer your podcast in audio form. Just search Generation Red on Apple's, Google, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. So now that we've got all the house cleaning out of the way, guys, excuse me. One of the things I mentioned, or I've heard a lot this week, a lot of the talking heads in Husker Radio, Husker Podcast, they've all said kind of the same thing, and I'd kind of like to hear your take on it, Scott and Justin. Swapping the tackles, putting Gunner at right, sitting Prohaska as a swing guy, and then just live and let live with whatever Pritchett gives you at left tackle. What do you guys think of that?
Like, I mean, at this point, you got to at least try something, and you have some guys who are versatile, and I think that's one of the advantages of some of these guys. But I do think Elijah Pritchett's going to be, I think when he's in there, you know, he does a good job of moving people. I think at this point they're going to just keep adjusting until they find something that sticks and clicks. But hopefully they saw something that they liked in this group, and so I mean I'm confident in whatever they got, whatever they saw in it.
Scott.
Yeah, I think kind of like what Justin, you weren't here last Tuesday, but I liked what Coach had to say, and I agreed with him that, and you mentioned something, Dad, when it came to talking to, or not talking to, but listening to Rob Zadiska talk about the continuity on the line, and that there is a unspoken and intuitive understanding of what each of the linemen's roles are, how they're synchronized with each other, their habits when it comes to their footwork, everything that makes an offensive line proficient. There's an individuality there that it takes a while to gel, and it takes a while to understand what the guy to the left of you or the guy to the right of you is doing or is supposed to be doing. So I think throwing a wrench into that is just, I just kind of consider it unwise. I'm not an expert by any means, but I don't know.
My thing on that is, it's a group of guys who have worked together. I don't really necessarily think the cohesion is going to suffer, because I think it's just a matter of knowing the guy to your right and left and knowing their tendencies. And I think also knowing the guy behind you is very important, but knowing their tendencies. And I think they've worked well enough together with each other to know each other's tendencies. So I don't think this is going to throw too big of a wrench in it to where it's like we're making some kind of drastic change, because I've seen way bigger shifts on offensive lines be very successful. Cohesion's important in a sense to where I don't think you can patchwork an offensive line together through the portal. I think you can maybe add a piece or two, but I think the guys who are there in the trenches and practicing together every day and doing that stuff every day, I think they just know each other to an intimate level. I think that's where the cohesion comes from, in my opinion, in the trenches, just from what I know about it. But that remains to be seen because who knows?
Yeah.
And we heard, some allusion alluding to that we're going to like whatever they come up with for running back behind Emmett Johnson, and that we've seen the depth chart come out on Twitter this week, and it's exactly the same as it was against Cincinnati. Basically, a couple of oars are removed, but for the most part, it's still the same. Gatula 1, and then Pritchett down at number 3 at that left tackle spot, and we really don't know who running back 2 is at this point. So
maybe we'll see a little bit of Vincent Genatone is what we thought on our channel, but maybe see more of Ives. We thought maybe there's a potential. They've been kind of easing him into it, coming off the injury. So I don't know. It'd be curious to see a little bit more Mosey too.
I wouldn't mind that. I certainly wouldn't mind seeing Ives a little bit more inside the 20, especially in these bigger games against the bigger opponents. It seems to be we need that bigger body to get a little bit more push when there's really not much of a hole down there deep in the enemy territory. So any other – let's just matchups. Justin, I know you've probably studied quite a bit of film and looked at – are there some matchups that you're concerned about on the defensive side for Nebraska versus the Michigan State offense, and then vice versa, the other side as well?
So for Michigan State's offense, I just think this is going to be the best. They're going to be the best receiver core that we've seen so far. They have an NFL level receiver on their side, and that's something we haven't seen yet. Michigan, Cincinnati, they had a lot of talented receivers. However, that was a group that had just been put together. So week one of my things going into that game was the fact that they still had to learn each other and gel. And so, yes, there was talent on there, but even then, like they got, Amari Kelly here and Nick Marsh, who's an NFL level receiver. So if Nebraska can contain Nick Marsh, I think we're in a really good position. They don't have, Mekhi Frazier. He is they have some pretty good size at running back. They'll run a lot of inside zones, a lot of splits, a lot of counters. I think for the most part, it's just going to be containing Kelly and Marsh, and if we can do that, I think their offense is going to be very limited. They're trying to protect Childs, so I don't foresee them trying too terribly many quarterback runs unless they get desperate. Design quarterback runs. Now they may move the pocket a little bit, but I don't expect to see a lot of design runs. So hopefully that'll give Nebraska an opportunity there to not have to worry about that and be able to kind of set the tone defensively. But I think pass rush is going to be very, very important in this game, just because neither team has been able to really get to the quarterback at a high level. I think that's going to be one of the deciding factors in this game. But yeah, so that matchup with the Nebraska defensive backs versus their receivers, I think on the other side, I think it's going to be a matter of Nebraska trying to stress their linebackers. I think getting their linebackers, moving on routes, getting them outside the box, because one of their best linebackers, Jordan Hill, is their leading tackles, middle linebacker, but also is their leading sack guy. So if we can occupy their linebackers with, whether it be our mesh concepts or just, those horizontal routes, just get those guys in doing a different job as opposed to just being able to pin their ears back and be able to blitz the quarterback, and that's going to open us up. So occupying their linebackers for our offense, and then defensively containing their two top receivers.
Good stuff. How would you who's going to be the one that you'd say would be most viable to occupy the linebackers? Is that with the run game? Is that with the short passes, with the tight end, things like that?
Ja'Cory Barney out of the slot and the tight ends. I think we're going to see a lot of tight ends and a lot of Ja'Cory out of the slot, and we're going to see those, kind of on those mesh concepts. But also, I just think Ja'Cory, we can even get some seams out of the tight ends. I just think it's going to be a matter of, I think Ja'Cory's route running ability and his just overall speed and his playmaking ability, I think they're going to keep the ball out of his hands. So they're really going to have to try to do what they can to just kind of everybody on the defensive side for Michigan State is going to have to stay in their position. If one guy gets out of position, I think that's going to be, and that's what's happened a lot to them this season, is you get one guy out of position, the other guys start to overcompensate, and then their defense is just all out of place. And I think that's where Nebraska is going to have a lot of success this week.
Any other thoughts, Scott, on that matchups?
Oh, not really. I think Justin pretty much covered it when I'm looking at the stats. Yeah, I was looking at Amari Kelly and Nick Marsh, and it's like, oh, got to circle those guys. That looks dangerous. And it'll test our, I think I'll just concur with Justin said. I think this is going to be the best test that our secondary has faced this year. I mean, we still have the number one passing defense, so we'll probably see us drop out of that number one position out of this game if things go according to Michigan State's plans. But yeah, matchup is, I think it's looking at the matchups between Nebraska and Michigan State across the board. I think pretty much everything is favorable to Nebraska, even including the fact that we've had a really bad rushing defense. Mekhi Frazier has played. Let's see. I'm looking at their schedule here. They've played Boston College. They've played USC. Those are two pretty solid rushing defense teams. So they're probably going to chew us up a little bit, but I think matchup across the board, I think Nebraska is definitely the winner there.
They've got pretty good special teams. That's what I was hearing and reading a little bit about earlier today, was they've got a pretty good punter. They've got every bit as good a kicker as Cunanan is for Nebraska. So that will be an interesting matchup. See which team is better at the field position game. Can Nebraska get some drives from deep in their territory? Because I have a feeling there may be a couple of drives that's going to start inside our 20 as it is. Can we get out a little ways, and can Archie Wilson be that weapon that we need to get them pinned deep as well? And can we make those field goals when we got them? Because I'm sure there'll be 2 or 3 of them from outside of 35 that we're going to kick. So that'll be an interesting matchup as well.
Absolutely.
So, all right, boys, let's go ahead. We're kind of real quick here. This isn't much to do tonight. I mean, we're ready, right? The game's just around the corner. We're ready. Yeah. There's really not a whole lot to talk about.
Coming off my bye week, I noticed that too. It's like we just got to get the game.
Yeah. Michigan State, by the way, in total offense is ranked 81st in the country, 616 rush yards and 881 passing yards for a total of 1,497 yards so far this year, 374 a game. So they're a pretty balanced offense. They can generate offense through the air and on the ground. Nebraska, on the other hand, in spite of the fact that our rushing offense is needing some help, we're number 13 in the country in total offense with 1,986 yards, 1,407 through the air, 579 via the ground. So 496 and a half yards a game is what Nebraska is generating.
Yeah, Michigan State, they run kind of like a pro spread hybrid. So, yeah, it's a very balanced offense. Some zone runs, some play action motion, like spacing is important. Mm-hmm. Occasional QB keep, but again, they're going to try to force you to defend at all levels. But yeah, so just an idea of what their offense kind of is, just so people have an idea of what kind of offense they run.
Okay. I noticed that they were running a lot of that shotgun spread stuff with Childs back there too. So it looked very similar to some of the stuff we're running. Let's see here. I'm just taking a look, see if the line is the same as it was before. That looks like it's moved from a 10-point favorite when the line opened, as far as Reddit is concerned, up to 11. It was 10.5 yesterday, according to BetMGM and FanDuel.
11.5 now.
11.5.
I think so.
Yeah, it's at 11.5.
I hate it when we get favored that high and we've struggled against a Big Ten opponent already. It's just not fun for me.
But in our defense, we lost by the spread. So
yeah, we did. We certainly did. Justin, I'll start with you because I've got the other guys' score predictions. What do you think the score is going to be today? I mean, the over/under I think is still set at 53.5.
Yeah, I think Aiden Child's athletic enough and has been passing, is accurate and mobile enough to put some points on the board for them. But I just think Nebraska overall, I just don't think with them not being able to get a pass rush on Raiola, I think, he's going to be able to pick their zone apart. They're going to try to play match, man, quarters, whatever. But I think he's going to be able to sit back and pick their zone apart. And I just don't think, I think that's just going to allow the run game to open up. I just think we're going to be able to finally attack them a little bit deep. I got 38-17. I think maybe if they keep it close, like maybe early in the game, Michigan State maybe keeps it close. But I don't even think that's the case. I think Nebraska may come out early and get up by a couple scores. I think Michigan State may in the middle of the game, they may score a touchdown early. They may score a touchdown in the middle and then a field goal late. But I think Nebraska is going to be well in control of this game throughout. I got 30-17.
38-17? Is that what you said?
38-17.
You got a 21-point win. You've also got them hitting the over on the points, and then Nebraska covering the spread. So I'm going to be the pessimist tonight. I'm kind of in that I got to see it after what we saw last week. I know the potential. I've seen the potential. I know the potential of the matchup versus their defense says we should drop 38 to 45 points on them. I saw the fact that they were able to score 31 points on USC, and I'm kind of wondering, is our defense better than USC's? And I believe it is. I believe we have a better defense than USC. So I've still got them scoring 20 points or 28 points, but I've got Nebraska scoring 34. So they don't cover the spread, but we do hit the over at 34-28. And Coach has it at 31-20. So he's got them covering the spread. The Huskers cover the spread, and they hit the under. Scott.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive about this game. I think, like I alluded to earlier, I think the matchups are just pretty favorable in Nebraska's favor. I think I'll be damned if I am wrong here, but I just see this team being a different kind of team where we're not going to be plagued by the bye week. I think this is something that we're going to see a change in our culture. We're going to come out of the bye week. We're going to have our freaking asses on fire, and we're just going to want to kill something. Yeah, I think that the beginning of the game is going to be a little bit close, just as we kind of get gelled and we're kind of figuring out what we're doing. Probably Michigan State scores a couple of red zone field goals. It is probably closer going into halftime, probably something like 13-20 or 13-21, Nebraska leading into halftime. And then we just pull away in the second half. Michigan State only scores one more touchdown and we put up, I guess 17 more points. And I think Nebraska wins 38-20. I think we cover the spread and we are over. I just see this being a game that Nebraska, it's our get right game. We get out of the bye week. We're ready to just kick some ass and take some names. And we're better. We're a better team than Michigan State, and we're going to look like it.
Certainly would be nice if we did, because we do. I think we have a bit more of a test when we go to Maryland than we thought we were going to have.
For sure.
I really do. I think we're going to have a different test, a different environment, but Maryland tends to be pretty boring and quiet when we go there to play. But if they're 5-0 going into that game, who do they play next? Do you guys remember?
Let me look.
Last time they started the season 5-0 and everybody was sold on them. They ended up dropping like 5 of their last 7 too.
They play Washington.
But they got a damn good quarterback.
Yeah, they got a really good. That Malik Washington's no joke. So yeah, if they beat Washington, Washington's gonna be licking their wounds a little bit from the absolute physical beatdown they got from Ohio State. Although it wasn't a score beatdown, it was definitely physical.
I don't think. I think Michigan State is a good preparation game for Maryland, but yeah, I think Maryland's probably around the same. I think we're going to share a similar spread against that one, but yeah, very explosive a quarterback. It's an interesting game for sure.
Cool. Okay, I've got a couple of if-or questions for you guys. Or which do you think is more likely to happen Saturday? Aiden Childs running for 100 yards or Emmett Smith, good Lord.
Definitely not Emmett Smith running for 100.
Emmett Johnson running for 100 yards.
Emmett.
How about you, Scott?
Unless they all of a sudden start running Childs and don't want to protect him as much anymore, unless they just break out the QB run game all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
So who gets 100 yards receiving this week? Nazea Hunter or Dane Key? Or do you think neither?
Think Ja'Cory?
I think unless they do what they can to bracket Ja'Cory, and that opens up Dane.
Gotcha.
So, but I'm gonna say, golly, man, I'm gonna say Ja'Cory. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say Ja'Cory gets 100.
Ja'Cory gets 100. Do you think so too, Scott? I mean, that dude has just been dynamic. And how many plays does Ja'Cory have where he gets tripped up by like the turf monster? 2.
True.
Over under 2.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we establish that run game and get everything going, and off the play action, Dane and Isaiah just open up like crazy.
That'd be beautiful, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a coin toss between. Yeah, I mean, Ja'Cory's just been awesome for us this year. I mean, the amount of pain that this dude is endured, freaking getting folded like a lawn chair multiple times. And he's still just out here being our leading receiver is just awesome to see. Yeah, I think it's a coin flip though. If they've got Ja'Cory locked down, I mean, Isaiah Hunter has been also pretty solid. Yeah, I know, man, that's a tough one, Dad. That's a good question.
I'm saying Ja'Cory.
And
Yeah,
then
I
they've
think
got
what narrative
I
happens.
kind of hope I'm wrong in his Dane though, because Dane's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. The other one that kind of crossed my mind as you were talking there was Dana Holgerson was talking about how he was really pleased with the effort coming out of a loss and into a bye week this last week. He said he hadn't seen any team he's ever coached at practice like that. Now, for me, that triggered some PTSD because I remember hearing Frost say that crap all the time after a loss. Yeah, best damn practice we've ever had. Yeah, cool.
Bounce back.
Then you go on to have the worst games in the world. But
I think it's a little bit different when Dana's saying it though, because Dana tells it like it is.
He's a straight shooter.
He is.
He's been there, done that for sure. And I'm just hoping Oklahoma State doesn't snag him before the season's over.
But I think that's just a testament to the culture in the locker room of this team. I just think this team is a different mentality than it has been before, and I don't think this is a team that's coming. I don't think this is a team that loses a game and is like, woe is me, we lost a game, now everybody's doubting us. I think they're like, no, like we should not have dropped that game. You know, we had an opportunity, even though with how bad we played in that game, we're going to attack this week. We got the rest of the season ahead of us to prove everybody wrong. I think this team has just got something to prove, and I think that's what we're seeing a lot from the guys in the mentality this week.
Oh, for certain. I'm with you. I think you're right. And I think this coaching staff has a chip on its shoulder too. I think guys like E.J. Barthel and Donovan Raiola, who've been doubted a lot around here the last couple of weeks, I think they've got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder too, and I think their guys want to play for them.
Listen, I think Dylan's got a bigger chip than we realize on his shoulder, and I think I think he wants to go out, and I think he wants to put on a show in one of these games.
Yeah, and I mean, just the whole he's getting next to no love when it comes to Heisman talk.
For being one of the most accurate passers in college football so far.
Yes, he is statistically and with the eyeball test, I think he's the best quarterback in the country, all things considered. If we had even a slightly marginally better offensive line and give him half a second to a second more to make his reads, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that he is leading far in advance every other, like he already is statistically one of the highest performing quarterbacks. But I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. He wants his name up there. He wants to go to Vegas for a Heisman's, ceremony one way or another. That's in Vegas, right?
No, it's New York City. He'd
New
be
York
a long
City.
damn way away from that trophy.
Sheesh. My bad.
He had the wrong flight.
Yep, got the wrong flight. You're in the wrong city, buddy. Might as well gamble a little bit.
He's going to go bet on the Heisman.
Yeah,
That's
go
right.
bet.
That's
But
right. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think this team has just got, like I was saying earlier, I've just noticed it's a different team. I was a doubter at the beginning of the season, and obviously the rest of the season still needs to play out, and we still have a lot more narrative that's got to be written for the history books. But it's just the way that they talked in their post-game interviews and everything since then, it just seems like they're not down on themselves. They're actually disappointed in themselves because they, like you guys said, they knew that they could have won that game 6 ways from Sunday. There were many ways that they could have won that game.
Yep.
And it just didn't. They just didn't do what they didn't do their job, and they know how to do their job.
I think based on what you and Justin are saying and all the things that I've been hearing and whatnot on different shows and from the players and little sound bites I've gotten, they sound like a team whose narrative have shifted from we blew it again to how do we not do this again? It seems like that narrative has changed within that locker room that, oh God, we're just going to keep blowing it to no, this is who we are. Let's go be who we are.
One of the reasons
I appreciate that.
One of the reasons I think that is because I talked about this last week, but coming off that Michigan loss, the reason why I wasn't as upset, I wasn't like really super upset after a lot, as upset as I can be about a loss. You know, I'm not going to be happy about it, but I wasn't angry or really that upset about it because the things that we thought were going to be a problem were a problem. This isn't like the 2023 team or the 2022 team where it's like you go out there and something different is wrong each week. And I think that's why it seems like so much more in reach to this team, is I think they see the film and the things that they knew they needed to work on show up on the film. I think the things that they expected to do well show up well in the film. And I think that gives you, when you have a structured plan and say, this is what we need to attack each week, practice goes a lot better. I think that's what we're getting to. I think we're seeing they have a plan because everything that we know, you know, the weaknesses that we know, the things that we know we need to work on, they are doing that. They are able to put the focus on that because that's what's showing up still as an issue on film. And I think once you have a direct, a purpose and direction of where your team's going and where they need to improve, I think that's a lot easier than throwing stuff at a dartboard each week and saying, well, now our pass rush failed, now our secondary failed, now our run game failed, you know? So I think that's why this team has a little bit more of a clear direction and a little bit more confidence in where they're at and where they still need to go.
Okay, I got another one for you. The over-under is 3.5 combined number of sacks between the two teams. What you go over or under? You going over?
Nebraska gets 4 on their own.
I like it. I like it. How do you think that happens? Are we going to see a lot of blitz on Sunday or Saturday, or are we going to see the defensive linemen just getting upfield?
I think our defense is going to do their job. I think we're going to see some coverage sacks, but I also think we're going to be able to have an opportunity to pin our ears back and just go after them, because I think we're going to be able to I personally don't think this running back room that they have is going to bust a lot of runs on us. So I think we're going to be able to contain that running back room enough to be able to get some pressure, actual pressure on the quarterback without having to worry about getting beat by a running back. So I think that'll allow us to get a little bit more pressure, but I do think some of it's going to be in coverage too. Because I think we're going to mix a lot of different rolling coverages and stuff like that to try to trip Aiden Childs up.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
I think this is a game where we see probably a pick six. That's my bold take.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like it.
Ooh, so bold prediction then. Your bold prediction is a pick six. How about you, Justin? You have a bold prediction for Saturday?
So finally see a fake punt.
Hey, I love that.
I'd be down with that. See Archie run in a little bit and give somebody a rugby shoulder. That'd be beautiful.
I think maybe we're in a situation, maybe around 40-yard line on our side of the field, or on whatever side of the field that is. Maybe we're up by a couple scores. Maybe it's a 4th and 4 and we see an opportunity there. Maybe it's a 4th and 8 and we see an opportunity there where it's risk reward. The risk isn't too terribly big, and we pull it out and just see how it goes.
Yeah, they tell our Aussie punter, hey, if they come out in this coverage
or this look,
this is textbook. Like, you only got to beat one guy if he even commits to tracking you down.
Yep.
Archie's not a small kid either, is he?
No, he's like
6'2",
230 pounds.
210, and he 220.
I see it playing out in my head too. When it happens, I feel like we're gonna be rolling him out whichever direction to punt, and he's gonna be one-on-one with the guy. And I think that guy's gonna either collapse in on him. If so, I think he's gonna dump it over his head. If he doesn't, he's gonna run. That's the way I see it.
I like the way you think. That's for sure. I like it. If I had a bold prediction, I would have thought pick 6, but Scott already took that. So my bold prediction is Dylan Raiola goes for more yards than he's gone in a game yet. So I'm going to say he goes for 380 throwing the ball.
Like it.
So that would be, I don't think that's all that bold, because quite frankly, if he doesn't take 7 sacks a week ago Saturday, he probably throws for over 4 bills. I mean, like you were saying, there was a lot of wide open stuff out there. Coach saw it from the stands when he was out there. He said there was guys running open everywhere. He just did not have time or the pocket of or awareness to see the checkdowns that he needed to make that were open. So
one thing that is very interesting, I don't know if y'all saw this, but Iowa State, who's ranked number 14th, Cincinnati's favored over them.
Yeah, by a point and a half.
How's that? How good is that pass defense now when you see Sorsby's gone for 900 yards since the game he played with us?
Yeah, he's like one of the passing leaders in the country.
Yeah, he was the PFF number 1 PFF ranked quarterback last weekend.
Well, and not only that, I watched the end of that game. There was a big 4th and 10, I think it was, conversion with about a minute left. That won them that game. They were down by 3 or something like that. I can't remember how much they were down by, but yeah, it was a 4th down. Kansas had they had a 4th and long chance to beat them, and they didn't. He marched down the field and scored. They won the game. So
that's pretty cool. I seem to recall a really good 4th down play that was converted against Northwestern back in, what was that, 2013? When Amir Abdullah went
that was
15.
McNeese, wasn't it?
No, it was Northwestern 2013. It was like 4th and 10 or 4th and 15. Abdullah makes a Herculean effort to get the first down, which set up the Hail Mary to Westerkamp.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Amir Abdullah when he caught that pass and just went.
That was another one of those Superman
highlights.
It wasn't going to be tackled.
Yeah. That was crazy. Crazy. Well, that was fun, guys. That was a fun exercise, and just talking about football. I love it. I learned something new every time I talk with you, Justin, because as Scott and I have said many times in this show, we're simple fans. We don't know an X from an O for the most part. So we're learning right along. As you're sharing your stuff, we're learning right along with you. So we appreciate it very, very much. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you out on the socials, Justin?
Yep, you can find me at _H-Town Husker on X. You can find me at Nebraska Football at the Voice of College Football. And then, of course, you can find me here. So y'all be sure to tune in to both shows.
Absolutely.
Every Tuesday.
And then you're starting a Nebraska's Voice of College Football Twitter feed too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be starting that here pretty soon. Yeah, before too long. Yeah.
Cool. Scott.
What? Oh, yes. Yeah, you can follow me on X at ScottGenRedPod. That's Scott with 2 T's. The second T is silent. Yeah, just see what I got going on over there if you're feeling spicy.
Sounds good. And as I said at the beginning of the show, Facebook, X, and YouTube at GenRedPod is how you follow the show online. Website is genredpod.com, where all of our shows, video and audio, are uploaded. Our email is genredpod@gmail.com. And in your favorite podcast apps, such as Apple, Google, Spotify, you can just search for Generation Red and subscribe there. Make sure you leave us a rating and a review. It helps other folks find a show. Don't be afraid to drop a like on this video. We'd really appreciate that. And until next time, for Justin, Scott, and myself, we are Generation Red, and we're here to chronicle Nebraska's eventual return to college football greatness, one podcast at a time, because there's no place like Nebraska.
And Iowa's corn sucks.
Go Big Red. I didn't know what to say, bro.
And in rule we trust.
That's and in rule we trust. That's coach's job. So,
There was such a beautiful synergy to it where Scott says, Iowa's corn sucks. And then Coach follows it up, and in Rule We Trust. And then I hit the music. It's beautiful.
You know what? And I'm here to ruin it all.
I know.
That's what
darn Arizona people.
That's what
IR1.
So.
Outcast.
Yeah,
do it different, baby.
All right, brother. Hey, before we go real quick, I know I did the outro already, but you said something, I think, earlier about the fact that your fight that you were planning to having in October is getting moved to next year.
Yep.
Okay.
There was a falling out of sorts, if you will, with in my team, with a manager of sorts of my coach. So yeah, there was a falling out with me and my coach. So that kind of has put everything on the back burner.
On the back burner.
Yeah, it was a weird thing, but we're Q1 of 2026 is what we're aiming for.
Cool.
Sweet.
Keep us informed, because I definitely want to take a trip to wherever you're fighting to see it. That'd be cool. I've never seen a fight in person. I'd love to.
Frustrating, because it kind of screwed me, because the whole trip out there, I was supposed to go out there, my family's out there, and then I didn't get that travel ID in time too, because I needed that new federal travel ID, and I didn't have that, so I couldn't make it out there for the game. It's that new star whatever ID.
Oh yeah, smart ID or whatever.
I didn't have it in time, so wasn't able to make the trip, and it was all because the fight fell through at the last second, thanks to my coach. So yeah, it was frustrating, but I'm still going to try to make it out there to a game this year. So
all right, good. All right, brother. We will see you when we see you again next week, and hopefully we are covering a W. I believe we will be covering a really cool win, and we'll be looking forward to Maryland. So go Big Red, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you've downloaded the podcast, we love you. Later.